All right, it looks like we are rolling. Welcome to the Hawkeye Rising YouTube channel. My channel. I'm Clint. As I said yesterday, not Clint Francis Barton, but my name is Clint nonetheless. All right, certainly Canadian West Coast. All right, adding to yesterday. What day is it today? Today is July 3rd. July 3rd or 3 July 2024. It just happens to be the birthday of Frederick Tupper Saussy III, author, the late author, late and musician, sources of certain characters in certain films, of rulers of evil, useful knowledge about governing bodies, which I read from yesterday. So on Saussy's birthday, let's just continue. No, it's trying to get the mic set up just right so I can read without having papers scattered about with a fan and so on, so that this can actually kind of, with some kind of flow. Not that I'm the best reader, bear with me. Remember, this is not my forte, but there you go. Anyway, so from the Hawk's Nest. All right, page 93. Oh, speaking of which, 93. Today, history was made. I just so happened brought up the 2024 Tour de France. The Tour of France, the race that gave its host country its a type of identity, supposedly the geographical identity. And it just so happens to start. So a 3-week race started on Saturday, June 29, and it will finish on the 251st anniversary of the suppression of the Society of Jesus, July 21st, Sunday, Day of the Sun, 2024. And today, it just so happens that, so stage 5, a young man, no, well, not so young anymore, 39-year-old Sir Mark Simon Cavendish from the Isle of Man won today, breaking the record of most Tour de France stage wins in the history. It's 111th year that the race is being held this year. And so 39-year-old Sir Mark Simon Cavendish won stage number 35. For some time, he had been tied with 34 stage wins with the greatest cyclist of all time, supposedly Eddie Merckx. Eddie Merckx, who not many people know, introduced a very young Lance Armstrong to the doctor, who what did he say in the early 90s? That's EPO. I can't think the full name. There's no more dangerous than orange juice. But through Lance Armstrong, 7-time winner of 7-time consecutive winner of the Tour de France from 1999 to 2005, who was stripped of all his titles, was introduced to the doctor, Michele Ferrari, by the greatest, supposedly the greatest cyclist of all time, Eddie Merckx. Anyway, Cavendish just beat Merckx's record, 35 stage wins. And it just so happens, Cavendish, born 21 May 1985. What's 21 May? Hold on, let me just see if I can share this. Share. So you get to look at what I'm kind of looking at. Sir Mark Simon Cavendish. Cavendish was recently knighted. Where was it? June 2024. Wonder if it was the feast day of, or Saint Jean Baptiste. I don't know. But So literally just last month, Cavendish was awarded the Knight Commander of the Order of the British Empire for services to cycling and charity work. All right. So yeah, Cavendish, 21 May 1985. Again, 21 May. Let's go back to stop screen. Present. Where are you, Spirit General? In honor, 18 Chester Superior General. When did Lorenzo Ricci's generalate begin? 21 May 1758. So the winner of today's Tour de France stage, making history which may never, ever be surpassed. Yes, records are made to be broken, but this, I think Merckx's record has stood since 1976 or 78. All right, so since we're looking at Lorenzo Ricci, so 18 Chester Superior General, his generalate again began 21 May 1758. But the fact that, remember, where did this year's Tour de France start? In Lorenzo Ricci's hometown, Florence, Italy. So what's really going on here? This Tour de France, I believe, was 3 stages in Italy and it's crossed into France. Now it's in France for the rest of the duration of the race. All right, Mark Cavendish. And why am I bringing this up again? Again, we're focusing on, in part, Lawrence Ricci, as Frederick Tupper Saussy III would say, and because it's Tupper Saussy's birthday today. Brilliant asshole. Okay, page 93. Just quickly looking for context. The introduction confirms that Paul III's war declaration, Regimini Militantis Ecclesiae, is about protecting the life of the nation, which is the Roman Church. Protecting the Church may require the superior general to sacrifice his soldiers, his citizens, and if need be, his sovereign, the Pope. In a very real sense, the great general is so inscrutably alone, so omnipotent, that he is at war with everyone, sacrificing his own, just as Saturn, the grandfather god of Rome, devoured his own children in order to defeat an enemy short of coming to blows. This is a great general's legitimate obligation. Sun Tzu writes, without giving battle, without spilling a drop of the enemy's blood, without even drawing a sword, the clever general succeeds in capturing cities. Without setting foot in a foreign kingdom, he finds the means to conquer them. He acts in such a way that those who are inferior to him can never guess his intentions. He has them change location, even taking them to rather difficult places where they must work and suffer. When a clever general goes into action, the enemy is already defeated. When he fights, he alone must do more than his entire army. Not through the strength of his arm, but through his prudence, his manner of commanding, and above all, his ruses, diction, enunciation. Lorenzo Ricci's most, so now we're on page 94. Rulers of Evil, useful knowledge about governing bodies. Lorenzo Ricci's most compelling ruse was disestablishing the Society of Jesus, a campaign that mimicked the collapse of the Knights Templar 4 centuries earlier. We remember the date the given date for that of 13 October 1307. Specifically, with astonishing precision, the disestablishment ran concurrently with the escalation of hostilities between the American colonies and the British Crown. It was an amazing juggle that spanned 17 years. It saw Ricci's secret liaison in and around the British Parliament by legislation that inflamed his secret liaisons in and around the American colonial governments to formulate a culture of rebellion. It saw his own visible army, mute and defenseless, systematically assaulted by the European powers and eventually suppressed for all of eternity by a 1773 papal brief. Once the stage was set and the action scripted, it saw the general slip into deep cover to let the Protestant powers exhaust themselves in wars that within a single generation resulted in a glorious Roman presence where once England had reigned. Continuing reading. Clandestine military. Okay, again, how potent these next few brief paragraphs are. Again, what did I say yesterday? Art of War, if it is, and I believe it is, Lorenzo Ricci's voice, published, and sent out all over the flat earth through his army, the Jesuit order. Art of War was how the general would create the United States of America. Rulers of Evil, the text that we are reading from right now, is how the general actually did it. So you have, whether it's two sides of the same coin, of course, with all the events that took place in between. You got the intention, and then of course you have the game plan, how it was done. And of course, and which is why, in part, I believe the purpose of this text, Rulers of Evil, was published in 1999 for this very reason, to make known what Lorenzo Ricci did, to make known how the significance, to even say extravagance, how powerful the office of the Black Papacy actually is, and yet nobody knows about the office. Nobody knows the names. All right, continuing. Clandestine military operations inspired by the ingenuity of Sun Tzu are virtually impossible to document. And so I'll say that again. Clandestine military operations inspired by the ingenuity of Sun Tzu are virtually impossible to document. If strategic notes were taken, if written commands were given, they were carefully destroyed. Such that survive may have been spared in order to misinform. The mouths of covert operatives are kept shut out of a simple desire to stay alive. Sensational disclosures, too, we can presume to be misinformational. To determine that Lorenzo Ricci did in fact mount any clandestine operation at all requires a careful evaluation of circumstantial evidence. Was there an outcome that benefited him and his sovereign? Did he have the authority, the motive, the resources, the ability, and the opportunity to do what created the outcome? As to outcome, English-speaking Protestantism did in fact violently divide, and the victorious party, moreover, invited Roman Catholic religionists to participate in its political government. As to authority for waging war against Protestantism, Regimini Militantis Ecclesia authorized the general to prosecute enemies of the Roman Catholic faith. As to motive, the Jesuit oath spiritually obligated the extirpation of Protestantism in both America and Great Britain. As to resources, the Black Papacy, even as its martial strategy brought its own organization to apparent oblivion, had instant call on the vast reserve of Roman Catholic wealth. As the old Spanish proverb goes, Don dinero es muy católico. Ricci's ability to direct an international covert operation was stated and defined by the momentous publication of the 13 Articles, or Art of War as we know it today, 13 Articles, in what was then the language of international diplomacy. So, French. Finally, a man commanding unlimited financial resources and unlimited obedience of an unlimited supply of well-trained personnel, enjoyed unlimited opportunity to do anything possible and some things deemed impossible. And here we go. I've got this well underlined. To deny that Lorenzo Ricci orchestrated American independence may be to ignore his talent and demean his office. This is, of course, page 95. And, of course, Saussy sums it up or primes the chapter 12, Lorenzo Ricci's war with the end of chapter 11. Let us move now to the next chapter and begin our examination of how the general did it. So, in and of itself, this text, is it set to misinform? It gives names, places, and dates, which can be verified. And again, what did Hawkeye recently do? What did your Hawkeye recently do? Dude. Where are you, bro? Present, share screen. Welcome to the party, pal. When I joined one of the last, was it a team brief or flipping tables? I joined. I got the good old cap. The cap. Welcome to the party, pal, which has been used many times. But of course, infamously from Die Hard. It's not a Christmas movie, as Willis would say. And so I did a short little video essay on this because it has all over it, when you examine it, 9/11 imagery. So let's examine when, just before the "Welcome to the Party, Pals" is stated by Bruce Willis's character, Sergeant Powell. The actor who played this. His squad car has I think it's 011 on top, but its license plate is 24. Now again, so we can. Is it a stretch? I'm going to point to something else, but I noted this 24/11 or 11/24, naturally November 24th, 11th month, 24th day. And why am I bringing that up? Well, let me just show you. Let's look at the roof again. I don't think the sound will come up. So yeah, 011, so 11. And going back to the license plate, and we know that even Pixar has published that they put in messages on their on vehicles with license plates in their cartoons. So it's not a stretch to point this out that information could be passed through license plates. Now that in and of itself is a whole other stream, I guess you could say. So I'm just making a big case here. 24/11. Now go back to my. Where am I going? Stop screen. Present. Lorenzo Ricci. Why is 24/11 important? Well, it's the supposed death date, that the date we're given, of 18th Jesuit Superior General Lorenzo Ricci. So there's 4 different dates that when just as looking at Mark Cavendish today making history in potential the most grueling athletic endeavor in the history of sport, the Tour de France. The winner of today has a birthday, 21 May. You got 16 August, 24 November, 21 July, that are all attached to 18th Jesuit Superior General Lorenzo Ricci. So again, hitting this, again, acknowledging the fact, like last year, 250th anniversary since the suppression of the Society of Jesus, you have the release of the films Barbie and Oppenheimer, exact same day, arm in arm. hand in hand, cheek to cheek, ass to ass. Okay, so the fact 11:24. Now, why am I hitting this? Because I want to hit. Let's. Can I get a witness? Can I get a second witness? Ricci's. I don't know. Who knows? Descendant, potentially, probably Guy Ritchie. Guy Ritchie rocked a film a couple years ago. Wrath of Man. I have done a video essay on this. Not just a video essay. I did actually discuss it. I call this actually the film. The hidden title is actually Mark of Cain. In this scene, we have Jason Statham and Josh Hartnett. Anyway, don't need to get into dates and the backgrounds into these, but the fact that you have Statham's character H, Mason Hargreaves, known as H, given the name H. Where's his eye line? And I pointed this out well over, I guess, a year ago. I don't know. It's probably on Lorenzo Ricci's birthday-ish, August 2nd. So here's another 24/11. So throughout this film, this armored car is the film of itself is a vehicle to tell a story, and within the story, we have a vehicle that takes our main character and characters from point to point to point to point, and it's seen throughout the film. So we're looking at 24/11 all over the place throughout this entire film. Directed by Guy Ritchie. And I think in part, you know what? Why not I'll just ask the old Googles, September 27th birthday Googles, J. Sugel, Wrath of Man film. May 7th, 2021. I'm sure wasn't planning on this. Anyway, I'm sure there's, what's going on there? Something's going on. Anyway, released back in 2021. I think when, even though we do still see people wearing masks. Man, it's crazy going back to 2021. Well, 2020, 2021. Yeah, wow. And think about this: how we've read what happened just over 100 years ago, the so-called Spanish flu, how that's been presented in textbooks. What occurred over the last 4 years will be presented in the exact same light. The mainstream narrative will be the narrative, and it will carry weight. It will inspire fear. It will scare the shit out of a lot of people, and it will be used as a big ass lever to obviously to make some moves in the future. The seeds have been planted. Inception is real. All right, so why am I okay? Spirit Journal, Mark Cavendish, 2024 Tour de France. How long we've been running? 23 minutes. Okay, I think, and I just wanted to hit as well. That's Frederick. Remember, and as I've said, oh, no. I just decided which rabbit hole to go down. It's just, no, having to click on all the, whatever. No. The fact that, okay, Wavy just basically, we'll just briefly look at share screen. Tupper Saussy the third. And Jean de Brebeuf. Just as presenting recently the death of Canadian actor what I think even awarded the Order of Canada and other honorary Donald Hawkeye Sutherland, sharing both birthdays, a birthday and a death day with Belgian Roman Catholic Jesuit trained priest Georges Lemaitre, the father of the Big Bang. So the nature of our given reality, our presented reality, and how Donald Sutherland, through dates attached to that, not just a birthday or a death day, but both. So something significant going on here. And then, of course, Donald Sutherland's connection. One of his father-in-laws being Tommy Douglas, voted in 2004 the most, what did I say? The most important Canadian, I think, for his role. Who's this? A so-called Baptist minister, also a Freemason. We have a lodge. Don't think we have an initiation date, but we do have a lodge number. But Premier of Saskatchewan, Baptist minister, Freemason, and voted most significant or most important Canadian for his role in what would become our modern healthcare system. And what is never discussed about Tommy Douglas is his interest and what he published about eugenics. So Donald Sutherland, there's some what he is attached to, and then of course there's the Hawkeye element, and coincidentally the Hawk-Tua element as well. You know, whether that's inspires laughter or not. So anyway, Jean de Brébeuf, Saussy shares a death day anniversary with Jean de Brébeuf, 16 March. We remember Jean de Brébeuf, Jesuit priest, born 25 March, 1593. So Feast of the Annunciation. And death day, 16 March, 1649. Remember, let's see if I can quickly pull this up. Okay, while we're looking at Saussy's page. So, July, again, born today, 1936, died in 2007. Remember, ghostwriter, this has been brought up too. Ghostwriter for James Orway's biography. What was it called? Tennessee Waltz, I believe. Important point there, because James Orway was the supposed assassin of Martin Luther King Jr. So Saussy's got his hands in many pies here. Okay, Jean de Brébeuf. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the page first because it's important. Jean de Brébeuf is what is he? He is a patron saint of Canada. Jean de Brébeuf death. Let's see if that comes up. There's a Jesuit page, Jesuit Globe. This is important. In part, I'm assuming you've had, dear listener, you've had some exposure to the Jesuit fourth vow. Okay, here we go. Let me share this while we're still together, and then we will part ways shortly. So we were looking at Saussy, now we're going to look at Jean de Brébeuf, Jesuit Jean de Brébeuf. Saint John de Brébeuf. From Jesuits.global. Okay. So Jean de Brébeuf, first Jesuit missionary in Huronia and a master of the Indian language. He founded mission outposts, converted thousands to the faith, and inspired many Jesuits to volunteer for the missions of New France. Massive in body, gentle in character, with the heart of a giant, he was known as the Apostle of the Hurons. Interesting date there. I think there's that. Well, the day after Martin Luther's given death date or death day anniversary. Okay, won't go through all this, but I do want to point out the manner in which, as it's been presented as, how Brebeuf was killed. Some preliminary torture. The Jesuits and the Huron captives were forced to run naked. Okay, of course, making sure. I'm not sure the people group that had captured the Iroquois attacked nearby village during the night. So the Hurons. Okay, a lot going on here. But anyway, captives had to run the gauntlet. As nearby village. Then the two Jesuits were led to two posts where they were to be killed. Interesting, almost a similar vein of Sun Tzu teaching the women, the King of Wu's concubines, to drill. First, the captors heated a string of hatchet blades and then placed the red-hot iron. Oh, spinning wheel of death, asshole. Okay, then... Come on. Then placed the red-hot iron on Brebeuf's shoulders. He did not yell for mercy, so his tormentors covered him with resinous bark, which they set aflame. He continued encouraging his fellow Christians to remain strong. Then the Jesuit captors cut off his nose and forced a hot iron down his throat to silence him. They poured boiling water over his head in a mockery of baptism and then successively scalped him, cut off his feet, and then tore out his heart. He was 46 years old and spent 20 years in New France. Remember, this is the Brebeuf serving an institution which runs on the blood, as the cap says often, blood and tears of children. And somehow we're supposed to have some sense of not just recall, but also mercy, compassion. Because in part, again, knowing the fourth vow, that Brebeuf would have prayed it, what's declared in it, literally a blood oath. And this, again, and this is how Brebeuf met his end. In this realm, justice served. All right, just noting Saussy's birthday today. Of course, tomorrow, the supposed 4th of July, Declaration of Independence, which I believe not so. And while we're here, why don't we just hit that point? August 2nd, Declaration. And many sources from nationalarchives.gov. August 2nd, 1776 is one of the most important, but least celebrated days in American history, when 56 members of the Second Continental Congress started signing the Declaration of Independence in Philadelphia. Nationalarchives.gov. Let's just Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence on July 4, 1776. It was engrossed on parchment, and on August 2nd, 1776, delegates began signing it. Why is this important? Remember, okay, I'm not even sharing the screen. I'm sorry. Hold on. Hawkeye. Don't give me the spinning wheel. So go back out. Okay, so nationalarchives.gov. Remember, so we have the mention of the July 4, 1776. It was engrossed in parchment, and on August 2nd, 1776, delegates began signing it. So certainly not taking away from July 4, but what is ever neglected to be discussed? When should be the date of the celebration? The signing of the Declaration of Independence. Even Wikipedia will tells you 2nd August, 1776. Pennsylvania State House later renamed Independence Hall in Philadelphia. So the 12, let's see, 12 of which voted to approve on July 4th. Many stories have concluded that it was signed nearly a month after its adoption and not on July 4th, as is commonly believed. Any other credible sources? Okay, obviously this can be looked up at your leisure, but why is August 2nd important? Because parce que let's hit this again, share screen. Lorenzo Ricci, 18th Jesuit Superior General, born in Florence, Italy, August 2nd, 1703. I've said it many times. The United States of America was the birthday gift Ricci gave to himself on his 73rd birthday. He was still alive. He did not die, as is told, 24 November 1775. And I propose that, as we know that under Catherine the Great in why don't we just, what's her name? Oh my goodness. Come on. Sophie Augusta Frederica von Anhalt-Zerbst. And the 201 Jesuits which found refuge in Russia during the suppression from 1773 to 1814, 21 July 1773 to 7 August 1814. The supposed suppression. I've suggested that the first or the 201st Jesuit in that number was Lorenzo Ricci himself. Can I prove that? No. Just my thoughts on the matter. All right, Lorenzo Ricci. A happy birthday with a double gun salute to Frederick Tupper Saussy III. Mighty thanks for giving us rulers of evil useful knowledge about governing bodies, which, depending on who, what was it, Peter John Kolvenbach? Whether in immediate in immediate presence or from a distance, laid out his desire for this to be assembled and published. And there's big question mark. But certainly, as we've read, the to not even to consider the office of the Black Papacy. It's to do, in a sense, to do it not just a disservice, but to demean it, dishonor it. And I believe Saussy, the purpose of Saussy's work was to blow it wide open. The role, the office, the role, the presence, the person of the Black Pope. All right, there we go. Thank you very much. This is your Hawkeye signing off.